This is a brief demonstration of site optimizing software that we're using at Haeger Engineering. Site optimizing software is a new technology in the civil engineering field. It allows for automated site planning, grading, and cost estimating to be done real time in a CAD environment at initial project stage when you're just evaluating the site. If you're familiar with BIM in the architectural field, this software has a lot of the same functionality as BIM, which we'll get into in a minute. What I've got on my screen is a 2.5 acre site, and I'm just going to do a small office development just to demonstrate some of the things that the software can do. I've got a boundary for the property and a topographic survey loaded in. Those are the two things we need to start our project. And I'm just going to turn off the topo for the sake of clarity. And I'm going to bring in a building, a typical office building that's about 10,000 square feet. And I'm going to move it around the site. And I'm going to set up a parking lot area. And I'm going to say that we need about 75 parking spaces for this project. And when I close the parking field, you can see that the software automatically draws in parking spaces. And what it's doing is it's using all of these fields that we have defined to generate all of those spaces. So as I change the properties in this field, the software automatically updates. And as I tweak around the limits of the field, the software is automatically, real time making those changes as well. One of the things I'm going to do here, I'm going to throw a sidewalk in the front of this building, as you would typically see on an office building. And I'm going to move this parking lot so it cozies up right next to it. And you can see all these parking spaces along the front of the building disappeared. That's because there's a field in here that asks me if I want to allow that, which I will. And so I've got about 81 parking spaces here. I was shooting for 75. I'm going to continue on with the site plan, and I'm going to throw in a main entrance to the road here. And you can see it draws in the driveway and then updates the parking lot to eliminate those spaces as needed. I am also, to demonstrate something, show you in a second. I'm going to assume there's a stand of mature trees here that I want to save. And I'm going to define this area as a no grading area along the front. And last, I am going to throw in stormwater pond along the side of the property. And so I'm just sketching these things in. It's a conceptual site plan. It's really just to see what's feasible here. And there's my stormwater pond. And in a couple minutes, I've got a site plan here that works, provides the parking, has the detention layout that I need. I'm going to take the next step here, and I'm going to let the software do a grading plan for the property. And first, I am going to add some height to this building so we can visualize it in the grading field here. And then I'm going to launch the grading solver. And what it's doing is it's grading the site. The blue is fill and the red is cut. And if I change the display here to show contours instead, you can see the contours are jiggling around. What it's doing, it's grading the site, and it's using properties that we have defined in here from minimum and maximum slopes for the pavement area, for the green space around, for the retention pond. And actually, if I turn these triangles on, you can kind of see I defined this no grading area out in the front here. It didn't do any grading within that area. And so what it did is it sat here and it did a real-time grading plan, and it used unit costs that we have defined in to come up with the most efficient grading plan that obeys all the rules that we have set up. And so it came up with cut and fill numbers. It has an export associated with this site. It's got site clearing, retaining wall, paving, curb and sidewalk. So it generated a cost estimate for this improvement based on that site plan, which is something we obviously could do in the past, but not in 5 minutes. So just to show one of the valuable things, I'm going to take that stormwater pond and I'm going to get rid of it in that location. I'm going to move it down here. So it's generally the same size, and I'm just going to run that grading solver again and see what kind of results I get. And again, I'm going to turn off those fields, and you can see again it's in real time changing the grading of the site and giving me a revised grading plan based on this location. And I should have written down what that number was, but I think it was like $97,000 for the detention pond located on the south side. And when I moved it back over here, it's coming up with slightly higher numbers. And so even on a small site like this where it doesn't, we could certainly draw in this parking lot in this building, not in 5 minutes, but maybe in an hour. We wouldn't be able to do this kind of conceptual grading and cost estimating, though. Those are the kind of things that we measure in days, that we can do in minutes here for site evaluation. So if you, this is just a brief demonstration of the software. It has a lot more functionality than what I've shown. If you have any kind of sites that you think would be a benefit of this, I'd be happy to come in and give you a demo personalized to a site that you can provide us, just to show you the power of the software, and we can talk about how we can work together. Thanks for your time.